Welcome to the Book of John podcast. I have my fellow host. I'll let him introduce himself.
I am Brandon, Be Real. LB2 is the crew.
And my name is John, also known as Duger21, also known as one half of Tagger Marketing. Now we're here to do the Book of John podcast. We're here to talk about all different subjects. We have the subject matter that is going to be pushed through my co-host, Be Real, and myself, Duger21. We're coming to you live, and you also can stream questions live, and we can talk about these questions live right now. So we've done our rapping bit, so now it's time for us to do our co-host and host for the most Book of John podcast. So let's dive right into one subject.
Hot topics.
Hot topics.
Yeah. I wanted to dive into a question, which you'll probably get to later. It's in Genesis. I'm gonna just read it, and we're just gonna move on from it. I'm gonna just read it. It's a question for you guys to think about, and what would your answer be to this question? Let me get to it.
See, the co-host ain't ready yet. See, look, when you introduce a topic, this is the first time we're doing this. You got to be ready to talk about it. And if you ain't ready to talk about it, don't speak about it. So switch to another topic that we could talk about.
Yeah, there's a lot of school shootings going on in our area, especially Kennedy High School where we went to.
Okay, so now we want to touch on politics as far as would you feel comfortable having your son or daughter in the classroom when your teacher has a gun or your security guard has a gun?
Or a student.
So, how would you feel?
Homeschool.
So you don't agree with the topic of having teachers with guns? Teacher or a security guard with a gun?
Well, yeah, I'll probably feel comfortable, but you got to make sure they're trained properly. You got to make sure they're going through rigorous background checks, stuff like that. You got to make sure, I don't want no one to be on, you just can't be a loose cannon with a gun.
I would say this, since teachers are not heavily trained, I would want a teacher that can handle the attitude of the students. When teachers or students begin to pick on the teacher, I would want them to be classified in diffusing situations that are hot, because a lot of students that talk to teachers talk to them disrespectfully. So I would want a teacher to be comfortable dispelling all these arguments and things and fights in the classroom, because I won't want a teacher
to pull out the gun while you fighting.
To pull out a gun trying to solve the problem and shooting a student in a classroom in front of other students, potentially endangering other students, have nothing to do with the situation at hand. So I think it's something for them to think about. And also, I would like gun security to be hired at schools, like metal detectors and pat downs when you come into a classroom, for every classroom.
This is the new age.
Yeah, 100%. So I think teachers should almost have a guard card so they can pat down students before they come in the classroom and do background checks. I mean, not background checks, but background checks would be good for students and teachers, and pat downs and book checks, backpack checks. I think that would be excellent.
Before you enter the premises.
Before you
even park.
Yeah.
Because this is people's kids we're talking about,
100%.
I have kids. One day you'll have kids. You want to be able to be comfortable, because if not, homeschool is not a bad choice. They got a program K through 12. It's not bad, and your kid can still play sports and go to proms and stuff like that.
So do you would feel more comfortable having your kid in private school?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Private school.
I mean, it's money, but it's worth it.
Yeah, and I think private school.
I don't think I ever heard no shootings at a private school.
I haven't. No. You know what? In Florida, it was a private school, and the average income was very high. Wow. So they had the opportunity to buy guns, free flow, more than, because schools in poverty have the fighting is less so, more about gang violence than it is really about being picked on.
Yeah. And
and counselors, real life counselors and psychologists on the school. at a
Well,
school premises, and more mentors.
Yeah.
Mentors would be cheaper. So I think they need more mentors
And the
on
yard
school
duty,
property.
the yard duties,
Yard
they
duties
need
are
to
very
be,
yeah.
I hope observant. Remember Paco?
Yeah, Paco, definitely.
Like you got to check their backgrounds too.
Yeah, 100%.
You just David's he was a yard duty. I remember him. He's a hothead.
And we're saying this in lieu of potential threat at Kennedy High School in our neighborhood, Sacramento, California.
Home.
Definitely hits close to
A little
home.
too close to goddamn.
Definitely close to home. So that's how we feel on the gun topic. No guns in NRA. Don't
they're
support.
starting. A lot of stores are starting to stop selling like AK-47s, machine gun type of weapons.
Right.
But they still got the handgun. It's still just as deadly. Killing one is like killing 50.
Yeah, killing one is like killing 50 because your one can mean the 50.
That's right.
100%. I agree with that. So next topic, Brandon,
will be the end times, because everyone, I hear it all the time. This must be the end. The way we got Donald Trump as the president,
Hold on. So let's start here.
Right.
How do you feel about the president paying off a porn star with private funding, $130,000 for his private escapades for shut up money during the election? How do you feel about your taxes being paid for that?
I feel like that's why people say end time stuff like that. That's to me. If a president stoops that low, what else would he do? What else could he do?
Yeah, because we've all had affairs and have done things like that.
But I mean, you paying a porn star, like you could use that money to pay for better schooling and put kids in the projects.
Definitely,
stuff like that.
I agree.
Like, you putting your money in bad places, which can't wait for a new president. Because he's not a president, he's a businessman.
He's definitely a businessman.
He's about them dollars.
Chippers.
Chipper
on the chipper. And I definitely agree that our tax money and things like that shouldn't be spent on private endeavors. More, I can stand golfing. I feel like I need money back while I'm paying for mistakes.
Right, his mistakes.
For his mistakes. Yeah. Definitely.
I feel like we need to put him on a tax cut. Because at the end of the day, he makes the decisions which we don't agree with. I know I don't agree with a lot of his decisions.
100%.
I mean, he might be giving you the insider truth of the perspective of a businessman at his caliber.
Right.
And at times it's like he's giving you some inside the truth of what's going on. But at the same time, what he do under the table is important too.
Definitely. And I feel like it sheds light on all big businesses that handle misfunding and paying out people that are sexually harassed. Really, it should be handled through the Labor Commission and things like that. And they should be paid a flat fee of $10,000 because that's essentially what it is when you get harassed on your job site.
The president, he don't understand what it is to walk in these 10 toes.
Right, 100%.
Being a citizen, paying taxes. He's never been in that role. I want somebody who's been down this road.
100%. So do you think that you would be opposed to hiring an immigrant president or a Mexican or another black president or anything like that?
Someone who can relate.
More in touch with the country being diverse.
You can relate. I mean, you can be well diverse in politics, but you got to be able to relate to the people.
Right.
That's why Obama was, so great.
All right. So I want to touch a little. I want to transfer into the new movie, Black Panther and Wakanda, and how it set the community on fire. And do we feel like we need to integrate more of our power as individuals into our black community and our businesses?
Well, what I liked about it was, like, I think the most powerful scene in that movie was at the end when he bought the projects.
Right.
To better it.
I see your $1, $2, and $3 deals.
And if you don't, if you don't invest in your young youth that's going through that, and show them a route other than gang violence and drugs and the things they see every day, then it's going to be repetitive. It's going to keep on happening.
Right. So, how do you feel like Wakanda Forever translates into black businesses? How do you feel? Do you feel like that if you're behind this movement on social media that you should find a black business to support, I truly feel like you should.
Right.
Whether it be your own business or any other business like that, I definitely feel that you should find a black business to support or find a way to create your own business through that. Definitely. I definitely feel like that we're going through a black renaissance. Along with Colin Kaepernick and other black athletes that are prosecuted through the media, I definitely feel that we should find a way.
Is a tool,
definitely,
to open our eye to promote and help us innovate and get better at what we do and let everybody see what we do. Because we don't help out the black community, the black businesses.
So what would you do?
We don't invest into that.
So what would you do to fix one problem to support black businesses?
I will probably have meetings with the community or inside your own community. See, you got to start in your community, before you can touch the world, So,
really, I would think it starts from an application, like an app. Something that they can log into frequently, and they can find out how to support black businesses.
Yeah.
So,
or you get one major account. Everybody put all your nationality put $5 in that account. You'll have $1 billion in no time. So we don't work together like that.
No, but I don't think the GoFundMe is made. People want to appropriate the money and find out where it's going and find out who's in charge of the money.
Be a positive
that's what I would think. An application would be better because people feel comfortable donating to an application rather than giving to somebody from a GoFundMe account. Okay. So I think an application should be created to support black businesses in your major city.
Right.
I think that would be very important. So it'd be like black people Sacramento, black people Atlanta, black people this.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or because look at other cultures.
Right.
Look at let's just talk about the Muslims, the Arabians.
Right.
How they own all these liquor stores.
Right.
They build their mosques in for their community.
Right.
And they first serve their people before anybody else. And once you start giving back to your own community, once you look at the gold in your own community,
right,
then you can trend. You can start making moves. You can better your empowerment, your people. And once they see the empowerment, and that becomes a cycle. Which is hard to get because we are so individually minded.
Yeah, individually charged.
See, when you put somebody at the bottom,
right,
they become that way because all they're trying to do is get to the top.
Right.
But if you have a foundation, which we don't have, that's what we're missing is a foundation.
A foundation.
We're missing a foundation.
I definitely agree. So I think creating a foundation in your local city and community is very instrumental to getting...
especially for the youth, because it's all about the future.
No, I wouldn't even not only say the youth. I would say the 30 and up. 35,
anybody,
the cap at 35, 35 and down.
It could be whatever age, but the youth is the future.
Right.
So, and you want to be able to, at one point, you want it to be when the future comes, the next generation will follow that generation. Right. And that cycle will be a positive one.
100%. I think we just need to create or find a better way.
We're still trying to find ways. And really, we got a lot of resources. We got a lot of people in high places now, more than ever. We got doctors, lawyers, all of this, but it's still individual things. Well,
okay, I think to eliminate the individual, I think we have to create a committee.
Right.
Create almost like a United Nations.
Right. Just like, for example, the Black Student Union. And
right. Almost like how Wakanda had it in the movie. Right. For every city or small state near to you, have a representative to appropriate the funds and how to support black communities. And I think
especially
that's
housing.
That's the same for immigrants and all. Everybody should create a committee for their own community to best way to support that. Right. I think that's definitely instrumental in our success as a community. Yeah. Did you find that Genesis Bible verse yet? Or we're still waiting on that?
I'm still waiting because I have to download.
We're still waiting on that.
Next topic.
All right, next topic.
sports, and this is what I want to talk about with sports.
All right, hold on. Let's start from NFL on down.
You want to start NFL?
Because the NFL is right there.
You think it's bigger than what's going on in college basketball?
Yes.
As far as the sanctions that's been put down, the FBI.
Oh,
the
okay. Right.
That's big.
All right,
now.
so
the big schools.
So I think so. So start off where you lead off.
Okay.
Lead off hitter.
All right.
Be real.
This is how it goes. This is how I see it.
So do you feel like
They
athletes
have
should get paid? Go ahead, talk to
These
me.
athletes, majority black athletes,
Right.
are very talented. You know, and when they get into that level, these coaches are paying players to come to their schools on the low.
100%,
And
right.
Rick Pitino, a big time coach,
Right.
has been fired, and now he's spilling the beans to the rest of the world on what's really going on in there. What I don't like is who's being robbed is the athlete.
Right.
The athlete's being robbed because he's most likely he's a poor athlete.
Right.
And he has to depend on this coach and this environment to make sure that he can to live, eat, breathe every day. And what it is if we can't, we got to have a voice for them too.
Right.
And they're powerful as a group, but if you can have I'm gonna have to say, a community behind them, these athletes, because they become who? LeBron James.
Well. I feel like it's too late for an athlete to give back to their community once they've made it to the NBA level, because I feel like there's a direct disconnect between athlete and NBA player.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like when they're on the college level, the connect is very strong because they're on the come up.
Right.
And they go back to their communities frequently on summer break or any type of break during school. So I feel like there's a huge disconnect once the athlete gets to the NBA, because now they feel like they have to separate from the community because all the community is want from them.
Right.
Like, I need this, I need that, I need that. Donate.
Right.
So I feel like if you empower every athlete, student athlete in that area, they're able to give back to
Or
their
if
own
you
community.
pay these student athletes, because they're making a lot of money off these athletes.
Right, 100%.
So if you would pay all these black athletes,
Right.
how much more damage they can do as far as in positive with their community?
Right, 100%. Direct. That's a direct hit.
That's a direct hit
That's
right
a
to their
direct
community.
right to the community.
It could be trickled down to you, and you want how close that would be. Like, because when my son, eventually, hopefully, he can learn from that too.
100%. I like that idea.
Uh-huh.
And I believe that, like, these big universities and community college can give some. They don't have to
Right.
give 1,000,
No, they don't have to.
but they can give 500
Like-
to a student per diem.
If you
so
know
they
how
don't
much-
have to sell drugs.
The March Madness makes $1 billion.
100%.
They make $1 billion revenue off of these kids.
100%.
So come on, you can't.
I think at some point the universities have to give back to these student athletes, just because it's unorthodox.
At one
to
point,
continue.
it will change. Somebody will trend set. Somebody will.
Well, one of the
will
college
leave.
coaches already stepped out and said that they should. They
Right.
should.
The thing is,
that they should get an
don't think for one second they can't make their own branch and league, just like BB, like the big.
big baller
Right.
brand.
See how he's trying to be, because NBA don't have a competitor,
Right.
so he will be that competitor.
Well,
And
no,
people-
college. Yeah, college doesn't have a competitor.
And college too. College don't
Right,
have
right.
both.
I think college would
So,
be a.
so at the end of the day, if you have it to where you have a brand, and it be these top athletes, where everybody gonna want to go,
Right, to the money.
and to the talent.
100%.
Wherever the talent is, that's where they follow. That's why it's so important for them to pay these athletes under the table for them to come here and be able to, because they know at the end of the day they're going to be one and dones,
Right.
straight to the league.
One and done, straight to the league. All right, so the next degree of sports I want to talk about would be Colin Kaepernick and how he still,
He still doesn't have a job.
He still doesn't have a job.
Yeah.
And now we have Eric Reed, which is a free safety,
Yeah.
which is probably one of the best in the business. Now he's being what do you call it, blackballed
Right.
by all
By
NFL
being
owners
behind
and teams.
Kaepernick.
And then on top of that, the NFL draft
I like that.
has presented Lamar Jackson, which is
what about
a heavily touted
top prospect.
top prospect, but to his white counter athletes, they're looking down on him basically because he runs so fast that he's not qualified to run the quarterback position, but their percentages and everything is the same.
Right.
And they said he should transfer to receiver, while all these white counterpart quarterback
Just because
should.
you can run doesn't mean you can't throw.
Do you feel like the discrimination level is so high within the NFL?
The
that-
NFL shows you
or
where
the disparity.
where the line is.
The color
between-
line.
There you go.
The color line
It
is
shows-
very
Almost all sports show you the color line.
right.
If you know soccer, the color line in that is more of a Hispanic African descent.
Background, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So you know it's a lot of segregation in sports. You really wouldn't know. I mean, I used to play high school sports. I played a little college, and I seen it right there.
No, definitely. I
Right.
felt like parent involvement and parent payola definitely had a heavy effect on the kids that started or had more minutes because they had higher GPAs and their parents were involved in donating money to the
Right,
program.
right.
And African American parents don't have money to donate to the programs. Therefore, their kids get left in the back, don't get looked at because they have all the attributes, but they just don't have
They
the
don't
parent
have the
involvement.
environment. They
The
don't have the
environment. The environment is I definitely
Because if
think
you don't
that's-
have the environment, you're gonna be blind trying to with no hope. When you have no hope, you look to what's next to you is that wrong role model, and you lead you down the wrong path.
So, how would you say is the best way to support these athletes
Yeah.
without boycotting the league?
You
That's where I've
you
been
can always
stuck.
start your own committee. You always can start your own. You know.
No,
like,
no, no.
like
I
you
mean,
said,
I
the
mean you,
Oh.
you directly.
Oh, sure.
How do you feel like you could better support these athletes that are going through peril?
by having a voice, and the media, the tool of this social media is that.
So, do you feel like more people creating
re-
podcasts
however
and
many,
speaking on it?
right, however many views you get, that's how many people, that's another person you touch who can probably be somebody
Right.
to help out in there and majorly.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, that's-
So I think it's just about creating the platform and speaking on these issues.
Right, just speaking
of
on the issue.
athletes.
Just speaking
Just
about
speaking on the
issues.
issue, you empower
Exactly.
me and
Like,
you
You
to do
can't
more.
have an idea without a voice.
I definitely agree.
Yeah.
I definitely feel that we should find a way to directly support these athletes and NFL players.
Because you feel like it's because you don't have the budget.
Yeah, the
doesn't mean
budget.
you don't have the voice.
Yeah, 100%. Because
Right.
these are all free applications that we're speaking on at this moment.
Right.
And we're projecting
So many
a voice.
tools,
Yeah.
tools in front of you these days than ever.
Ever.
So there's not really an excuse if you don't want to put your input into these
Yeah, I
subjects.
think boycotting is the problem because
Ooh, no, you just hit me with that. Boycotting would do damage.
I feel like it's
would-
already done damage to the NFL. Now we have the NFL's attention
Listen,
to where they
right.
donated $1 million to people.
Okay,
or
right.
like $100 million to the athletes to directly infect the community.
Example.
Now I think it's time for the community to step up.
Example, say if all the labor workers, all the minimum wage workers boycott. Example, if they boycott,
Right.
the system will be unfunctional.
Right.
You cannot hire that many people in one day.
But I feel like if you speak
So you will
on
have
it,
to listen to these people.
But I'll say this: if you don't participate in Twitter,
Right.
if you don't participate in Instagram and tag the NFL, if you don't know what's
Right,
going
you don't
on in the
participate.
current
That's true.
events, there's no way you can really speak on the issues.
Participation.
That's why I said the boycotting. You can boycott but still watch.
Right.
Your voice is essentially boycotting material.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel
agree.
like if you don't utilize your voice within the boycott,
Right.
cause you're ineffective. You're an ineffective viewer because no matter what, they're watching. They're watching what you say.
Right.
They're watching what you do.
Right.
They're watching the views. If you're watching on regular television or applications or YouTube or highlights, because for a whole year I watched highlights. I never watched games. I watched highlights.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I felt like, how can I be a more effective viewer and a supporter of these athletes that are continuing to have them put their body at harm?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because they are sacrificing their life.
Yeah.
And how can we support them? Because if we don't support, they don't get paid.
Hey, I agree.
Damn,
You
yeah.
took it
All
all.
right,
You took it all.
man.
You took it
Yeah,
all.
yeah, man. We try to oppose each other a lot,
Keep going.
but
Keep going, yeah.
I definitely feel that we should get to a common consensus of where we're supporting each other and getting a uniform idea on how to support these athletes in these roles.
Okay, I have a topic.
Go ahead. Are you gonna talk about where?
It's, you know, is religion a control? Is it more of a control?
Oh man, we're about to get deep.
Or is religion
Talk
hope?
to me.
Is it hope or is it control? Or do you just don't? Are you atheist?
Ooh, no, I wouldn't say that you're an atheist if you're just not with the control aspect, because I feel like faith is everything.
Okay, faith is. But do you feel like the Bible, because that's the number one book in the world right now,
Right.
and if it's telling you what to do, right? It's telling you, but you got to understand to conquer, you had to break these rules to conquer, and then you implement these rules after, so no one can conquer after.
But I feel like we've been conquered continuously, even if we learned this great book.
Right. If you
Our father, your mother, everybody knew what was going on in this great book, and we still been conquered continuously and shot. You know what I mean? Like they always tell people to lean on the.
Do they understand? Do they understand this book? This book is a parables, and it's hard to really understand this.
100%.
It is.
No, but I feel like everybody gives a good breakdown of what's going on.
Everybody do give their opinion, their what they think, and the way I break it down is Genesis 3:6. This is the beginning, and this is like this is how I read where your level of understanding is when it comes to the Bible. I'll get that to you in a second, but let me.
So I definitely feel like the Bible is a form of control.
It does feel like
no.
I'm just hoping that your hope is that Jesus come down and
Well,
but that just feels loony. That feels like a Looney Tune.
No. Well, I feel like Jesus did sacrifice his life. I feel like he's a real person. Mm-hmm. I feel like that he did have superpowers, but I don't feel like the control within the body language and our actions and our don't rebel and follow unequivocally and be submissive.
You're gonna go off of instinct a lot of times.
Okay, so instinct says when you receive pain to react.
Right.
And the Bible says don't react. No. I'm not here for your pain. You know what I mean? Like how much pain am I gonna have to go through to understand what the message you're trying to convey? Lay down. How many times do we have to lay down as a people?
The only way to conquer is action.
100%. So for every action, there's a reaction.
And the reaction for the Edom is the world.
Right. 100%, because every action that we do, riot, boycotting, there's a heavy action, and then it's always instituted, say, in God we trust, or under the Bible, or how can you do that when the Lord is watching you? Right. Nigga, the Lord watching me right now. You know what I mean?
The Lord gave me this brain to think, critical thinking.
100%.
And if critical thinking is me reacting, then
so fucking
control,
be it.
The control. It depends. Faith is important.
I would say this: Google the verse.
I am. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing. Instead of doing it that way, I'm gonna just do it this way.
Yeah. Copy and paste that verse. My bad. Copy and paste that verse for a second. And when you're reading that verse,
when I find it, I'm gonna just
just put it in Google,
okay,
or your internet browser, and then the exact word, paraphrase or whatever, will pop out, and then we go from there.
Do it like that.
Then it's gonna tell you exactly what you need.
There it goes.
All right, so click it. And then read it word for word.
Read it. This is a question for you guys. You can give comments for your answers, feedback for the answer, and then I'll give you mine, and that would let me know your understanding of this Bible, because I read it enough to understand it enough.
100%.
And here goes the question.
All right, I'll give him the widescreen to the platform. Go ahead, speak on it.
So
be real.
I'm gonna read this scripture to you, and you just tell me what you think, or what you think this means in the comment section, or what may have you. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and the tree to be desired to make one wise, She took of the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. I just want you to tell me what you think on that, and I'll read it one more time for you. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and the tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. And I just want to, and to me that gauges where someone is at as far as understanding the parables in the Bible. Because it can be confusing if you don't know the precepts and if you don't know what is what. Now what I'll do from there is there's a different subject still pertaining to the Bible, but it's more of the origin of the Bible, which I'm hearing there's a book out there that costs $1,800. And there must be a reason for this, and it's called Hebrew to Greek. Now, I don't know who wrote it. This is just off the top of my head, and it's $1,800, and it's Hebrew to Greek, or Greek to Hebrew, and it's speaking about the language. Basically, like, you would think Hebrew came first, but in this book, the Greek language came first, and it became the Hebrew language. And so on and so forth. You know. Moving on. End times. You know, I watch these apps. I watch Secure Team, Third Phase of the Moon. You know, these are I should say UFO watching sites. It might seem a little odd, but they have some information about what's going on around the world as far as what's going on in the sky, the mysteries, and I'm into that. And you know, as far as it goes, I don't dig too deep, but I dig deep enough to you just want to know about your surroundings and what's going on in your earth. You know, this is your earth. You want to know what's going on. You know, like these strange lights that's going on all around the world. And things of that nature. You just want to know. You're in this earth. You want to know what's going on with it.
I would say you're an active participant in this earth.
Yeah.
So at what point do you feel like you're going to get the voice in your own earth? At what point do you feel like what you're saying and what you're feeling is going to be validated through your actions as a good person, as a good man?
Right.
Chris, my older brother, always talked about the honorable man.
Right.
So I felt like every time that I move within my daily life, I'm trying to be honorable.
Right.
How can I be honorable if I'm making money and he's not making the same money as me when I have the opportunity to hire him? That is an honorable man.
If you have an opportunity and you have the resources and you have the pull and it is who you know, use it.
And if you don't do it, it's an injustice to the Bible. Whatever that Bible says, you're an injustice to your own man.
Yeah.
And you're not honoring the Bible. There's so many people around you that don't follow the code of the Bible. Mm-hmm. How is it that your uncle or your auntie, your best friend, your brother, your sister got a good paying job, but you don't got a good paying job?
Now, it could be some steps to that.
But
no one's going to help you if you can't what? Help yourself.
No, but to an extent, I feel like you always can help.
Right. But if someone sees you're not trying to help yourself, it's like they're not going to hold your hand.
No.
All they can do is kind of show you the door.
Not even show the door.
But if you have if this person has resources and has pull, I would say pull, because you can't really do much if
you can give them a taste.
Yeah, you give them a taste.
You can't really give them the whole kit and caboodle, but you can give them a taste of the olive branch to understand what it feels like to taste that type of lifestyle.
And they gotta want that too.
I think everybody wants to be successful.
Yeah.
But we're surrounded by our mistakes. You're surrounded by the sins that you commit. Yeah. So if I'm a bad person, I fuck this person over, this person. The Bible says that you're supposed to go to hell. So how do you get out of the hell mind state if it's surrounded by your sins?
You look for guidance.
How you look for guidance by somebody who's godly,
Who's already-
supposedly godly,
Uh-huh.
extending that olive branch to you and helping you out of that situation. Let me look at this Bible verse.
All right, yeah.
Open it up
Oh, yeah, let's
so
get
I
to
can
it.
speak more on it.
Yeah, let's get to it. I just read it twice to the viewers, man.
Hold on. So I just want to get some comprehension. Go ahead. dig deep.
Now, this is what I'm gonna do. This is an example. I'm gonna read this to my boy here, and just like you give me a comment, he gonna give me feedback, and this is how I would gauge it. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took up the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat.
Oh, so we talking about Eve and Adam.
Yeah, even now, the two,
Never ever
and
have I heard anything similar.
so when it's talk about this tree,
Right. The tree is the woman.
the tree is well, no, it's not the woman.
Yeah, it is.
Let me read it one more time.
Oh,
And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food,
Okay, what I would want to say is,
and
in
that
our in our daily lives, who's the fruit?
the fruit is knowledge.
No, the fruit is the woman, because everything bears fruit from the woman. So the woman is looked at as a tree. To me,
Okay, you could say okay, but as in this verse,
because we don't bear fruit.
okay, but you gotta understand what fruit is.
Fruit is knowledge.
Now look,
She didn't have that
she
knowledge.
ate it. She eats this knowledge.
Exactly. So she ate the fruit. So now she can bear fruit.
She
You feel me?
She ate this fruit and then she gave it onto her husband. Then he eat too.
But she could only bear fruit because she ate the fruit.
Right. The only way but who gave her the fruit?
The tree is a man.
Right. The tree is a man with knowledge.
100%.
Right. It's you know what? You could say woman with knowledge. You know, but
A woman or man.
Right.
You
Someone
can-
with knowledge.
You can't be possessive of female or male.
right. But
Because
this
anybody
Bible is
could.
possessive.
It is very
It
possessive.
don't-
So we have to be careful the way that we word things because.
This was a tree to make one wise.
But it is a tree. But that tree could be female because there's nothing that says that a man can bear fruit besides giving our loins. You
That's
see
the
what
seed.
I'm saying?
That's the
That's
seed.
the seed. So we don't bear fruit. The woman is the only person that can bear fruit. Yeah.
What do you think the fruit is?
Man, I think the fruit is that God particle. The infinite energy to provide a life. I think the
So you
fruit.
think the fruit is to provide the life?
Yes.
Now,
Because we plant the seed, but they bear the fruit.
I see what you mean. I see how you seeing it.
Yeah. So I feel like that was a woman that gave her the fruit of evil.
Right,
How
okay,
many
right,
times
right,
have
right.
you found yourself in a situation where a woman just lead you down the wrong road?
Now this is how I look at it. The fruit will be knowledge. The tree would be someone telling someone about this knowledge. So, but they didn't know of this knowledge of good and evil.
Right.
So now that they have this knowledge, she tells her husband, this tree makes one wise. It makes you wise. It makes you wisdom. You know, smart. It makes you know from good and evil. You didn't know that at first. These are the two, Adam and Eve. The first beings supposedly to be on this earth. But there were more before them. There was a multitude, but there were the two that God was dealing with. And they was tilling the ground. Now, that Genesis 3:6 is powerful because you can get so many different answers out of that.
100%.
And that's the confusion. That's why you got to read it by the precepts and everything. But we don't have to go that deep. I just wanted you to guys touch the surface of the knowledge, the fruit. The fruit of the tree is knowledge. This tree to make one wise is someone giving this knowledge to someone else.
So who's giving the knowledge is important.
Now in the Bible, it's an Assyrian, which is Edom at the time. But we don't have to get into Edom and Assyrian. We just a quick little scripture that I like. That's one of my favorite scriptures. Moving on.
Yeah, I definitely try to be careful
Yeah, it's a
of
lot.
who's the giver and the bringer of that fruit and that knowledge.
Yeah.
Because you get lost in the sauce and you don't know who's giving you that wrong knowledge.
Another thing that I just thought about.
Let's talk about it.
Genesis. He says in the beginning of Genesis, he said, "Let there be light." But he hasn't created the sun. But in Genesis 1:16 is when he creates the sun and the moon. You can get confused with that too, because light is the sun. You know, when you say let there be light, to me that's when the sun was created. But then when you say later on, the sun, you created the sun and moon and stars in the firmament, it will make you think that how can there be light without the sun? You know,
right?
So if he said let there be, what light is that he's talking about? If it's not the sun, it has to be the sun. But if it's not the sun, that means the Bible is contradicting itself.
No, I would say it's talking about the inner light.
It might be explaining.
It says let there be light within inside you.
It says
because I feel like everybody has an inner light, and I feel like every video game, everything has created an idea of the light that lies within yourself. Because look, I was playing Destiny, and it said, "What's your light level?"
Right.
And I said, "Damn, my light level, I'm getting knocked off because I'm not strong enough as a person, right?"
Right.
So when he says, "Let there be light," I feel like everybody individually has a light level within inside them, therefore being able to help people better because your light level is higher.
But he did further say, "Let it be for seasons." And let it be for signs. So
that matches up with your light within inside you.
Will be more so. Let there be light, seasons and signs, and to me, it has to be the sun.
Well, I mean,
let there be light. Literally, not you're looking at it deeper. You're looking at it.
No, but I mean, your spirit can feel when the light comes out. Your spirit can feel when when it's coming nighttime. Your spirit can feel when a hurricane is coming. You can feel when it's raining outside. Like, it don't even have to be raining outside. You walk outside like, damn, it's finna rain out. It's finna rain bad. You can feel it within yourself. What is that?
That's more so your aura.
But I feel like every animal has the light.
They got instincts way past what we
see,
have.
We got to be careful about the definition of the words. Instincts. That's the light.
Yeah, you can say that.
100%.
But when God says, "Let there be light," because He said it was darkness on the face of the earth. Remember?
So let there be a light within inside us, which is life. Let there be life on the earth. Let there be spirit, the spirit of life on this earth.
Genesis 1:3. I'm going to 1:3 real quick.
Man, that's good. Man, woo! Give me some of that shit. That's deep right there. Let there be light on the earth. So let there be spirits, which is life on the earth. So it wouldn't contradict yourself if we said, "Hey, let me give life to the earth that has been dead." Ooh, fuck with me. Fuck with me. Come on.
All right, here we go. Now, history and religion is like coincides too. Goes hand in hand. All right, let me read it. In the beginning, God created heaven and the earth.
Right.
And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And God saw the light that it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness He called night, and the evening and the morning were the first day. So He's talking about the first day.
So that would contradict everything I said.
He's basically describing the first day, right? He's basically talking about the first day, because you can't live life without day and night,
and you can't live life without a spirit.
Right? The spirit. Matter of fact, little to be known that the spirit became before the sun, the moon, and the stars.
Talk to me.
And God had made the firmament, which is heaven, which is the sky above, and there's three of them.
Right.
There's one that God dwells in Himself. Firmament, which was that divided the water. The firmament divides the waters. I'm trying to get to this verse that's gonna.
I'm about to say, nigga, you gotta open it up at some point.
So I'm gonna get to 1:16. I'm gonna just fast forward. And let them be lights in the firmament of heaven to give light upon the earth. God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let there be for signs and for seasons and for days and for years." So this light is the sun, but He created this at 16. But when He talked about let there be light at verse 3, you would get confused thinking like, why would you create light but not the sun yet? So it would just confuse you.
I feel like he's talking about the spirit within the body.
See, then it will make you think that light. When in actuality, he's talking about the light, and then he goes, and then when he gets to 16, he explains what that light is.
Right.
That's what most people would. That's what
Hold on. So would you think, or would you be opposed to believing that the spirit is connected to the sun and the moon? So do you feel? Because I feel like we would die without the light.
Right. We would die without the sun.
So I feel like those two are connected.
Nothing would be able to really grow plants.
Nothing.
You can't grow without the sun. Photosynthesis is the sun hitting the plant and the plant nourishing from that and growing.
So that's what I'm trying to say.
You need the vitamin C.
So let there be light. Let there be spirit and light, so that this light within these humans could grow. Is you gonna fuck with me or not? Is you gonna fuck with me or not?
So that's how I would look at that.
Yeah, that was pretty deep, goddammit.
Yeah, and that's just something small. And another question I would like, I know it's not the most important question is, when did Eve die? I know you won't. It's not in the Bible, and I know God is probably not focused on Eve's whole lifespan. He's only focused on her sin, the kids she made, and that's it. With Adam. After that, Eve is not a subject, which I kind of feel like she should be a subject, because Adam and Eve is a big part of the Bible. When people think about the Bible, Adam and Eve is a big part of that.
Hey, text Izzy. He said, y'all want to go to lunch? Yeah, let's go to lunch.
I'll call him.
Nigga, call that nigga right now. Call that
We're in the
nigga
middle of
right
podcast,
now.
though. This is going up.
It's okay, it's going up, but we can schedule a lunch at a certain time.
Right,
what time is it?
It's 4:30.
Yeah, tell them we'll go to lunch at like 5:15.
All right, let me call him.
Hey.
Tell him to just come over here.
Yeah, we can go to lunch in this area.
Y'all just tell him to come over here, man.
Hey. Hey.
Almost feel like rapping again.
Hey. Hey, no, keep the podcast
All
going,
right,
because it's a beautiful one.
All right, so how do you feel about? We're gonna move on from the religion. Now we can get into history a little bit before I get into my next topic. The history I want to speak on is slavery. Went straight to it. The iron around your neck, the crafty counsel that they did for a certain group of people to be enslaved until basically this day, because this day is a mental slavery. They must have took off the shackles, the physical shackles, but the mental shackles are still there.
Well,
How do you feel about slavery?
Well, I feel like that. I feel like.
Hey, Izzy, come through.
Tell them we'll go to lunch at 5:15.
Hello? We said we want to go to lunch.
At 5:15.
At about 5:15. So just come through and we'll just do it like that. All right. He on his way right
Sorry for the brief interruption.
now. Man, I feel like doing rapping, podcast. This is what's up. High
You know,
five.
yeah, 5. Because you can't do it without the light and the die.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was good.
No.
A brief thing on history. I'm gonna give you a brief thing of how I feel, of history. They like to start at slavery, but I like to go a little bit before slavery. I like to go when the Romans were doing their persecution, when they ran us out of Jerusalem into the west parts of Africa. We dwelled in Africa. While we was there, we were growing as a people, as a nation. Other nations were seeing this. We could grow with the Africans. The Romans couldn't tell us apart, so they really just couldn't go in there and just start picking and choosing. So they made a crafty council to find these Israelites, send them in ships, because we didn't ask to be here. We was kind of forced here. That's fact. Now that your children is sold, your baby's fed. There's a lot of things that happen to blacks. We can talk about other nations, but I like to specifically talk about blacks because that's who I am. A lot of things happen. Emmett Till's a lot of justice had to happen.
The list goes on and on
and now we're here. Now we're here to where now you don't have to worry about the physical, but the mental it will be there until what they'll say until Jesus come. I don't want to say that because I believe in Jesus. I believe in the faith. I believe in all of that.
But
I just keep it in perspective.
so sometimes this wishmaster shit gets out of control.
You're a byword. A byword is nigga, spick, cracker. Those are bywords. That's what we are now. That's a wonder. That's one of the signs. Another sign is slavery. Another sign is Shem, being from the line of Shem. Ham is the black progenitor, but not of the Negro, and that's in the Donovan Dictionary book. And there's a lot of, you just gotta do some reading. But if you get on this podcast, if we hit you with some of this, enlighten you, you can go deeper yourself by the internet. That's a tool.
100%. So
You can bring a topic if you want. I've been bringing topics.
okay, so I want to say this. Where do you feel like you are at individually, and how do you reflect on your daily life?
Say it again. Sorry.
How do you feel about your daily life, and how do you reflect on where you're at today?
Yeah, I like that because where I was, I used to smoke a lot. I used to smoke, heavy. I changed that, especially when I went to the hospital for that. And it wasn't really for that. Maybe it was my mind playing tricks on me, but something was playing enough tricks on me for me to change my life. And now that I'm here, I'm more into taking care of business, more into not wasting time, more into what's going on in history on the planet Earth, the strange phenomena to saving little bugs off the street. Like where I'm at today, I feel 80% better than I did where I was yesterday.
Damn. Do you feel like
And say 100%, 80%.
Yeah, because I feel like that other 20% is for the mental release.
Uh-huh.
And I feel like when you're going through things, you do need a mental release, and I feel like marijuana is for that.
Yeah, and then for me, another mental release is this LB2 thing. This platform here is a major release.
Yes.
Find your release. That's another thing. Find your release. This is ours. Like, we like to freestyle, get however it comes out organically, put it up. Not too much editing, and just strictly organic. We're just
real
organic.
raw. Yeah.
And it's because you find the best in that. You got the best. You got people that got their ways in doing it. Just find your release.
Right. And which leads me to my next subject,
Right.
where I'm at today and how I feel at the moment. What
Okay. How do you?
You can ask me a question.
How were you? Okay. Compare yourself from yesterday to today.
Man, I would compare myself from yesterday to today, saying,
Is there any difference?
Yes, 100%.
Right.
Well, I wouldn't even say 100%. I'd say 75 to 50.
Right.
Where I was at yesterday, I wasn't as optimistic as I am today.
Okay.
So I feel like doors had to be open mentally for me today.
Right.
And I feel like yesterday is more trying because I'm at work.
Right.
So I'm in a work state of mind, so I feel like I'm trapped within the inside of my work.
Right.
And I feel like I'm not looking down at my work rather than being in my work.
You're in it, but you're not looking down at it.
100%.
Right, I get you.
So I feel like today, being in my off day, I can look down at my
Right.
work and analyze it in a different way.
And see the importance of it.
100%, but understand how I can optimize my growth
Right.
from yesterday
Always wanna
and not
better
today.
yourself.
Yeah, you want to be able to optimize your attributes.
Every day, you got 24 hours in a day.
Well, look, you got 24 hours in your day, but if you don't self-analyze or somebody doesn't analyze how you operated in that day, you don't grow
You'll
to
just
tomorrow.
become a robot.
Well, I would say you would become a habitual user of the same activities that thought you were going to get successful that day.
Sometimes you could be a habitual user and you steadily doing that, but eventually there's gonna come a brick wall with that because that's the same thing every day. The only way you can move this brick wall is to find your release.
Well, I would say the only way you find that release is somebody analyzing who you are. That's why bosses
from the outside in.
From the outside in, because there's a supervisor.
Right.
You have a mother and a father and a dad.
Right.
You have a brother. You have so many people surrounded by you to analyze your steps. So when you seclude yourself, you don't get that analyzation
Right.
of your day and how you operated in that day. You didn't get to fully maximize because somebody didn't analyze you. And I felt like today I had somebody analyze me outside of yesterday, so I found a better way to operate within today.
And you know, at times you surround yourself with people you feel most comfortable with.
Well, 100%.
Because when you around people you're most comfortable, that release comes so easier. You know, when you there's
Well,
elements to it.
I feel like you have to be comfortable around people that you can receive constructive criticism from.
Right. There you go. Exactly.
Because
Yeah.
I felt like yesterday I
That-
wasn't
that's right.
I wasn't positive to constructive criticism because I felt like my criticism was best.
Right.
So at times of resistance, you won't accept criticism. That's why it's always important to have somebody write down how they feel about you in that moment.
Writing down your
Man,
writing
look,
down your feelings, your
I'm a
impressions.
supervisor at an alcohol and drug
That
rehab.
helps.
So when I talked to my staff, I said, make sure, let me cut the music down at this point. I said, let me tell you that anybody who says anything to you, make sure they write it down. Because he say, she say is for the birds and the bullshit that lies within the grass.
It's like a rough draft and final copy.
100%.
The rough draft, you write it, you look at it, you analyze it, you see what you need to proofread, what you need to edit, and then before you make your final copy.
100%.
So
yeah.
So just I say nowadays you got platforms you can look. You can make you a however you just find your release. So someone will listen to you.
Right.
You know.
So, and that somebody is you. So you better listen, you son of a bitch. Well, you're not a mother or a son of a bitch, but you're a bitch.
Just
If you're
metaphorically
not-
speaking.
Yeah, bitch is the wrong word, you female dog, you.
Jokes.
You little bitch, you.
They ain't gonna stop. That boy
Yeah,
off that
well-
hookah.
Well, we talked about a lot of deep topics today,
Yeah,
and
we
I
did.
felt like we covered a lot of ground.
We did.
And we're getting ready to upload this podcast.
All right. Give
So
me a
you'll,
handshake.
all right.
While we end it. You know, this is what we do. This is what we do.
And I'll be making the cover as soon as possible.
Book of John Podcast.
Book of John podcast.
We'll see you soon.
Yeah.